James Durbecker here with Crescent Kayaks, and today we're releasing the Cres-Craft. As the paddling industry and the small power vessel industry merge closer and closer together, we thought this was a fantastic opportunity to really push the boundary of what both of those two industries could look like together. I'm convinced we have made the most capable rotomolded product to exist. It's rated for a 6 horsepower motor, can draft in less than 3 inches of water. It's a Crescent, so it still has that ability to be paddled. We have a killer platform for poling. It's stable enough. I've hung my foot off the side. I can stand up on this platform. It's not a gimmick. It is a truly innovative product that we are very proud to bring to you guys. And when I say that the two worlds are merging, what I mean by that is the skiff world could really use an opportunity to integrate the technology and advancement from the kayak industry. And the kayak industry is pushing towards that power world that has decades of experience of power. So we took those two together and merged them. Now, in the design process of that, it's kind of hard to pick which way to go because they have kind of two different purposes. And so in the design process, we really decided we couldn't compromise and do it just one way. So what we ultimately landed at is we ended up with two different versions. One is going to be, and I think one word can make things really simple. It's like you got this whole debate going on, and it's like, that's a kayak, that's not a kayak. So maybe it's been done or maybe it's simple, but let's just put the word power in front of it. So it is a power kayak, and our power kayak is going to lend itself to more of the power kayak world. So what's that mean? We're going to do a really comfortable seat. We'll get to that. We got a great partnership on the seat. But ultimately what it's going to come down to is going to be your power and steering systems. And so our power and steering system on a power kayak is typically going to be foot controlled, and it's going to be ran with typically an electric motor that's going to be on the back and foot controlled. The micro skiff edition, that is going to have a tiller controlled. And so with a tiller control, it is going to have a little more specific setup that's going to have a little bit different seating option as well. We'll get into all that. So let's go through this thing bow to stern, and we can really show you guys how we've brought innovation and that kayak flair to the skiff world, and we've also brought an amazing planing hull, push poling, stocking ability to the kayak world. And it's this beautiful mix that is the Cres-Craft. And it's a little homage to my dad with his great-grandfather built a boat that I still take out in the Great Lakes, and it kind of is an ode to them. They built a boat that kind of had a name very similar to the Cres-Craft, so it's kind of a shout out to my pops and his grandfather that got me into kayaking and small boats. Like, we are a brand that's known for paddling performance, and today, why don't we get Crescent synonymous with just performance? You know, we want to perform, we want our systems to perform, we want our paddling to perform, we want this thing to perform under power, and I think we absolutely achieve that. So let's go through this thing, bow through stern, and walk you through all the different systems, the management, and really let's bring this thing to life, let's tell the stories, and let's really illustrate to you guys what makes this thing unique compared to anything else in the industry. So, it's easy to go right down to this small little stainless steel bow eye. Like, I'm very proud of that, but I think it almost, with something like this, and we're gonna have to take a big step back, but this silhouette, I'm just so proud of what we achieved. And I just think when you just see it, whether it's in person or on the water, it's gonna be very intuitive that this is not like the other power kayaks or anything else on the market. It really, and I think the more time people spend on it and when we see this thing come to life, it really and truly blends that world of kayak and skiff. The silhouette is like nothing else, and I think it's going to be something that people really gravitate towards. And that bow eye to me sets the tone, and again, blending boat and kayak. So, but stainless hardware throughout. And what we wanted to do with this bow is keep it really clean. We designed this 2-take bow power, and it does that phenomenal. 6 horsepower tiller, you're running 19 miles per hour wherever you want to get to, and then you can deploy and be a little more tactical. But even in the bass or the kayak fishing world, I really got to understand that those stern power motors can really get you out to where you want to go. So if we want to kind of call it power and precision, the precision of the bow power paired with the power to get you out there with the stern power is a really phenomenal system. But I know I beat the American-made drum, but this all is years of development and process. And what some of the best part about this thing is the development with people and relationships. So we found this hatch with TH Marine, you know, one of the industry standards for marine products, and they were no longer making it anymore. And we got them to fire this tooling up, and we actually are having this made right next to us. We're from Georgia, and they're making it in Alabama for us. So they put this thing back into production for us. And I hope that the care and the detail that we're putting into this thing shines through. We also did custom color on the hatch as well. It's standable hatch, so super solid. Again, to the testament of the detail and just a little bit of story of the development of it. We first put a nylon cleat on here, and we all stepped back and looked at it, and we just decided that's not gonna be the standard and tone we set for this boat. This is a $10,000 plus micro skiff. Every bit of that fit and finish is in here. As we transition into the cockpit of this kayak, it's a little bit of education, if you will, needs to be done. We've spent a lot of time talking about kayak drainage systems and scuppers, and how those work is water comes inside the cockpit of a boat and drains out of these essentially tubular drain channels. What we really wanted to push ourselves on this design was the more or the quicker this can shed water, the more capable it's going to be in greater conditions, whether that's more challenging conditions or just the rate that water is coming into the boat. And so what we challenged ourselves to do is this cockpit is self-bailing. And what that means is we specifically designed and engineered it so that all the water, and with the deck pitch as well, all the water runs off the back of this kayak. So we were bombing through, you know, small craft warnings, never exceed conditions, guys, you know, for us, but it is a very capable craft and so fantastic at shedding water out the back. We partnered with Marine Mat on this project, and we had them send over every single pad kit color sample that they had, and we picked the perfect pad to go with each color tone. So each boat will have a custom selected color tone for each model. On this inner track, it is to accommodate the seat, and with that you are able to trim your position quite a bit, and it can help offset your, basically essentially offset your weight distribution and your trim. Now you can do that by placing things in different locations, but this seat position is going to have probably 6 to 8 inches of trim ability, if you will. So these tracks are on the inside, and what we did was we made sure to set them inward so that we have basically an outer set of tracks. These outer set of tracks are going to allow for a couple different management systems, whether that's going to be 2 roto grips on the rails or manage your paddle. So these outer rails, push pull, paddle, essentially 4 anchor points in the cockpit floor. Concept essentially was we wanted you to be able to strap everything down front to back and also horizontally. So every time you're gonna, and it's gonna come with a mini cam strap to be able to do that. So every time you see 2 anchor points from here to here, you're also gonna see side to side ability too. And why did we do that? So on a black pack or maybe even a cooler, if you strap down from the side, you can still access the top as it's strapped down. Or if you're doing more like a dry bag gear, fins, you just want to quick strap them down using a really good center point, you have that as well. So that's kind of our rail systems, that's our strap down systems. And then sometimes I think our simplicity in integration can kind of maybe make it seem like some features are not there, but they're just very integrated. And so something that you could easily miss would be this cutout right here that takes rod butts, and it correlates right to that's actually a rod tip management system coming off of, not only is it draining away from the hatch, but it's also a rod tip management system. Another rail that we didn't touch on, we know, typically speaking, fly guys or some, maybe even bass guys, you know, too, might not want to have their rod laid on the deck. So we just did a really simple, and that's the cool thing. Guys are going to find so many different things to do with it. Maybe a bimini top one day, who knows. But the rod butt can go into here and then come off that rod tip management system that we talked about. And that's just a way to, you know, in the salt, maybe you want to get your rod and reel off the deck. On both models, we have the integration and the footprint to take the leaning bar. So this leaning bar and cooler are not part of the standard package for it. Some guys might want a cleaner, more open boat. It's such a cool package that we wanted to make sure that we showcased how it's integrated and how that system can work. But there's 4 inserts in the floor, and it's set up to accommodate the leaning bar, and that's going to be on both models. So now what I want to do is really get into, as I previously mentioned, that the power and steering element is going to basically help you decide which model's right for you. Because ultimately we're going to need to make that decision if you're interested in the Crest-Craft. Are you more for power kayak, and is that your setup? Or is the micro skiff edition going to be better for you? I can tell you one thing we did to make it a little more simple for you guys. They're the same price. So we did not want people to compromise on what is right for them based off of saving money or anything like that. So we made them the exact same price. And what we want you to make the determination on is basically how am I going to power it and those systems that support to steer it. So this is how you currently see it, the micro skiff edition. That is going to come with a stainless transom. And it was very challenging, but I'm also very proud of the design process. I am very grateful that we had the opportunity to dial this transom. There's so much that goes into it. There's the transom pitch, there's the height. The height can cause cavitation, or you really need that clean water exit. We did 4 to 5, probably 5 iterations of this transom, tweaking it just exactly right, that we never would have had that opportunity if we had a fixed, molded in transom. And that stainless transom is never going to wear out. It's never going to pinch on you. And I think that's my boy Rhett does an awesome job. I mean, I've been thinking about the word that I hope we could one day have associated with the quality on this boat or skiff or kayak or power kayak, and it's bespoke. This thing is truly handmade across the Southeast, and I really hope that the quality and craftsmanship is showcased, and that we do a good job of really telling you guys the story behind it. If you're going to use an outboard motor, usually a 6 horsepower or 3, you're going to need the transom. It's going to clamp. The motor is going to clamp onto a transom. With that, this is the seating system that we decided to go with, and I called my buddy who owns one of the best skiff companies in the country and asked him for a referral on this beautiful teak bench. And I am not exaggerating. The first company that I discussed it with, I had to sit down. They quoted me over $400 for a bench of this caliber. Now, I'm not saying anyone should necessarily pay that. I'm just saying that we found a way to achieve this quality and this bench at something that was originally quoted to me at $400. I think a lot of people are going to be very tempted to say, I want to run my 6 horsepower and I want to put my Millennium seat here. And so if you give me just a little bit of your time, I want to make my pitch of why this bench is the right pairing to go with it. One of the elements, as you push the boundary and capability of this boat, you have a lot more potential and ability to manipulate the craft by off-centering your balance or where your weight distribution is. With the Millennium seat, you're going to be centered, and then you will swivel to how I tiller. Now, some guys will find a way to do a cool knuckle, and they'll be able to power and face forward. How I run a tiller, I like to sit, what was the word, catty-cornered, something like that? Catty-cornered, if you will, one leg on either side. It lets me have a really strong, stable base. And if you are centered and then have your second half of your mass, which is your lower body, in front of you, it's going to offset the distribution of weight. And so this bench was designed to really be able to let you manipulate your body in certain conditions. And you know, we got some killer B-roll. I'm ripping through small craft, and you'll see different times when I want that confidence and ability. If you're gonna run it in a lake or whatever, and you know, you have a good system for the Millennium, by all means. But I really am a believer in this. But the also double side to that is going to be, are there gimmicks out there? Can you shoot a 5-second clip of something looking kind of cool for a second? Absolutely. Standing on this platform is no gimmick. It is 100% a fantastic tool, weapon, whatever you want to call it. Pulling from here, stand-up paddling from here, the sight lines are incredible. I'm seeing everything, the fish, the bait. It's just such an amazing vantage point. We have a clip. I have 2 feet on the side of this bench, my full weight, completely stable. Like, we really push for the stability, but we're all looking at each other like, wow, you know, it really delivers on that. So we have a really great accessory, like a 3-inch super foam pad that we integrated into this. So we understand the comfort element and believe that the best of all worlds are achieved with that accessory pad that can be purchased. As we come to the back of the craft, again, little details that we took from the boating world that make a big difference. I don't want to run a cam strap over the top of this whole thing. How about just one right there in that security bar, hook right down to a trailer, both of those into insert stainless. That's just a really simple way to strap this thing down. As we get to the stern, we put a lot of time and energy into just the overall design and the bailing system that we touched on again too. So this flushes water completely out here. And a big thing that we made sure that we did, every time you see one of these, that means we're slowing down material. So in the rotomolding process, it spins. And as it spins, this molten ball is essentially coating the tool. And so every time you see one of those, picture it's a speed bump. So you have this molten ball, and instead of slipping off of a surface, it's having to go over that angle. So every time you see one of those here and even further down, what we're doing is we're adding geometry, and we're also slowing down material for thickness. There is an insane amount of kiss-offs throughout this boat. Kiss-off meaning where we marry the top of the deck and the hull together with a plastic cone shape that merges the two together and locks this whole thing down. There's 6 of them back here around the transom area, so very solid here. Also, again, all of it is a balance between weight distribution, but we did the footprint on the power pole, and just little things, guys. Like, we noticed there was 2-3 inches for the power pole to get a little more inboard, and that's really part of the magic we did with essentially the instep of this motor. You have 2 sponsons on either side. They're great for stability, but this also helps so much. If you have that motor hanging off the back, the trim is crazy. When you put it under power, it pushes up. These sponsons really help to plane out quickly, and it's just a really great design for bringing that weight distribution inboard. I'm not someone that is a giant rule follower or that nature, but there is something that I think is wrong in our industry right now, and we address that with this 6 horsepower rating and the hoops we jump through to make sure that we are doing things the right way. So we had this boat surveyed. We brought in Mark from Precision Marine Consulting, and he did a complete survey on this craft. And that survey told us the requirement of foam that we needed to have. And the reason why we need to have foam in this is so that this boat has positive flotation. And what positive flotation means is when this boat gets full of water internally, it will float with motor and person level. And that matters because of the capability of this craft. You can take this thing out, whatever that means for you. I mean, there's out in Great Lakes, there's outs on coast, but this boat has a lot of range, and that safety factor matters to us. I will not compromise on that. And if we are going to do things the right way with this craft, it has a 6 horsepower rating and it's internally foamed. And I think that the industry has ignored that, and it is a safety thing that is very important to us, and we're not going to compromise on it. We had the survey done, and it is internally foamed, and that safety element and doing it the right way is very important to us. I won't compromise on our customer safety, and we did not do that with this boat. It is certified and it is done the right way to Coast Guard standards. Let's now walk you guys through the power kayak version. Again, is going to be determined by how you're powering it, how you're steering it, and that seat system is going to complement that as well. How a kayak motor essentially is going to work is, and typically they will be electrical, and it's going to work off a slide pulley system. To complement that slide pulley system, to keep things nice and clean, we ran internal tubing the length of the Crest-Craft, and that's going to allow you to run your cables, everything internally. We pre-plumb it for you, and the cables will be included as well. Where they exit, they come out to what's a really, again, a cool collaboration with Ketch. We have a 30-inch anodized rail system here, and that's going to really complement your trimming with your seat. So if you have to trim a little further back or you're a really tall guy, this 30-inch track is going to give you the range to have that full range of motion when turning and steering. Now again, the Millennium seat, here it is for you guys, a fantastic upgrade. As I mentioned, we could put a Crescent logo here, but in our opinion, and in this world of sportsmen, this means quality, this means seating comfort. As I mentioned, and I'll show it to you guys, their standard seat strap comes fixed, and that won't allow you to separate and open it fully. But this is a fantastic seating system. It is on a stainless steel tube base. The really cool thing, we like to design in patterns, and a really cool thing that we did is the base and mounting points, 4-inch spacing on this seat and the wood bench are exactly identical. So they are interchangeable. All you have to have is the seat, excuse me, the seat where the rail systems are, and the base, if you will, are exactly identical. We did the swivel option for this, and it's really fantastic to just have a little more access, different casting angle. So we have the steering pulley system with the electric. I did not touch on, this is going to be, but it's already in the Crescent DNA. It's going to be a stainless steel power plate, powder coated, really high quality. That's going to be the power plate that's going to come with the kayak. We're going to go ahead and include the spacers. So on the Newport, to clear the sponsons, you'll have a set of spacings. There's really 2 major players, Newport and Torqeedo. The Torqeedo doesn't need the spacers, but we'll go ahead. We know a lot of guys, and we have a really good partnership with Newport. We will go ahead and include the spacers so that the pin clears when you pull it. If you're going to be running foot steering and you want to go hands-free and steer with your feet, and you don't need up to a 6 horsepower motor, the power kayak version is the way for you to go. And I am really excited to see some tournament setups potentially, or just guys pushing the boundary. That stern power with the extra horsepower and range, with the precision of the bow power is a really phenomenal setup. Another really big emphasis that we know is important to kayak anglers is going to be access and the ability to rig it. So a really cool partnership with Ketch. They did a killer anodized aluminum plate for us and with a gasket, and this is going to be into little micro inserts, so you're not going to wear out the bolts taking them in and out. They're going into an insert, and this plate's going to give you internal access. We kind of have the footprint for 2 power poles, but anything else that you guys might want to bolt onto this plate will give you access to do that. You want to run internal lights, even you want to run with an adapter and set your battery up front. That absolutely is how we intended it. And that is the Power Kayak version. And again, the exact same price as the micro skiff. The other day I was having a conversation about innovation, and the way that I said Crescent innovates is through form. Form is function, and that function interacting with water is what this whole thing is about, and when the boat comes to life. And so the biggest difference between the unique and first time we've done this with Crescent on the hull design is this is a planing hull. There's displacement holes and there's planing holes. Planing holes are meant to get up to speed. They're going to perform under higher speeds, where a displacement hole is more of in the kayak world. It's for slower speeds and efficiency. This is the first time at Crescent we have done a planing hole, and I'm really excited to walk you guys through all the little R&D engineering and systems we did to make this such a complete and functional craft. We put a lot of resources, energy, time, money into this. We've done multiple iterations, and I'm blown away by what we were able to achieve with this. So starting at the bow, we have a very sharp entry. A lot of times different skiffs might have a little flatter one, and that's going to create hull slap. And we didn't want to have that, so we did a sharp entry point. That's going to cut through waves and serve us really well, and we kept a very light keel as it tapers back. We kind of faded that out so that we're able to achieve our 2-3 inches of drafting. So it's going to be great for poling. You can get into really shallow water. So this keel kind of dissipates and creates the opportunity to really draft shallow. Well, how do we keep it tracking well then? So we put these two skegs, if you will, that run the entire length, and you can really see a cool angle of it here at the entry point. This is really prominent in the skiff world when poling. It helps for that boat not to slip and slide out on you. Also, with Crescent, we hid all of our structure, that kiss off that connects the top deck and bottom together to give the strength. We tucked all that in, so every time you see one of these kiss-offs, that's rigidity and strength. I mean, look at the amount of structure we put back here at the transom. That's to absolutely allow this thing to handle that 6 horsepower torque. And we also use this opportunity on those channels to help as water shoots. That's going to direct the water. And a really important thing is a clean water entry when you're putting this under power. No cavitation. That was critical to us. This with a short shaft motor, so you're going to run a 15-inch motor. There is no cavitation. We inset it a little bit, so the trim is fantastic on this. These sponsons really help you get up to plane, make it super efficient, and they're going to complement the kayak world in every kayak power as well. And one thing I want to touch on real quick, I don't want customers wasting money, time, and having a bad setup. And there is no reason you should ever put over 3 horsepower on a displacement hull. It is not efficient, and the boat is not meant to get up to plane. So we designed this hull specifically to balance all that steering, power, everything on the kayak element, but we took it even to the next level to take that 6 horsepower. I promise you, this thing is phenomenally stable. And the one element that is I'm happy about, because we started power focused, but I don't think we can, for some reason, because of our DNA, we always end up with a great paddling ability. And that's probably the biggest surprise I had of this boat is you can paddle this boat in cohesion with the motor systems. They absolutely work together. I'm not saying you should paddle it primary, but they absolutely go hand in hand, and I'm just very, very pleased with our entire systems and the design, how they came together to make a phenomenally functional product for you guys. So let's now do text and specs and dimensions. As it's been mentioned, the Power Kayak and the Micro Skiff are the exact same platform. They are both going to be 13 foot long, 39 inches wide, and weigh a little over 120 pounds. Obviously different motors and everything will change that, but the base weight is going to be 120 pounds, absolutely manageable with a cart and all that. The Power Kayak is going to be rated up to a 3 horsepower motor, and the Micro Skiff Edition is going to be rated for 6 horsepower motor. They have a weight capacity of 500 pounds. The performance capacity is going to be in the mid 400s, but the max load it will take is a 500 weight capacity. So let's talk about where you can get these awesome crafts. As always, the Crescent dealers are supporting us and are a fantastic outlet and really are excited to have this and walk you guys through all the different possibilities with it. So you can buy them and find them on our website. The dealer map is there to find your local close dealer. Uniquely with this one too, we're going to be building out really great packages that you can come pick up from us directly as well. Trailers, we got some awesome motor partners that we're in the works with Newport, and have some great outboard partners we're going to do as well. We're going to be building trailer and power packages. And lastly, you're going to see this in places you haven't seen a Crescent before. Marine shops, as we push into that skiff world that we're really excited about. Please support your local businesses, support American made. It is the highlight of my life to get to create these things. Our company's passionate about customer service, the paddlers, and the opportunity to be part of this community, create for you guys, be of service to you, connect you with nature is, I promise you, extremely fulfilling for everyone at our company. And we're very grateful for the support through all the years, and very excited to bring the current people along with us and be introduced to new paddlers, anglers, and sportsmen.